Fear is one of the most potent and intriguing human emotions. It seems that fear has been intertwined with human existence since its inception and has never left. In ancient times, it served a crucial function: self-preservation. The fear of hunger drove humans to hunt, and the fear of death provided the strength to endure. It compelled us to flee from wild beasts or, conversely, to attack them when threatened. Intellectual capacities evolved through the analysis and understanding of the unknown and the terrifying, helping to comprehend how to withstand natural catastrophes. However, like any coin, fear has its flip side. The same emotion that played a vital role in survival sometimes renders us passive, dragging us into the quagmire of the comfort zone. In the modern world, fear can arise not only from immediate physical threats, but also from anxieties, uncertainties, and our interpretations of potential negative consequences. Today's video will focus on precisely this reverse side of the coin. We will explore how fear, often triggered by emotional rather than physical danger, can make us inert and keep us stuck in the swamp of the comfort zone. Stoics do not propose striving for absolute fearlessness, as that would be imprudent. They acknowledge rational fear as an essential survival tool, helping to discern real threats and fostering reasonable caution. At the same time, they warn about the risks of rational fear, a product of our perception that can lead to depression, anxiety, and shame, steering us away from resistance and allowing fear to dominate. In ancient times, philosophers embraced fear as an integral part of the human experience. They asserted that fear is not a monstrous creature lurking in the shadows, waiting for the moment to seize our minds. The belief that fear arises in the mind as a product of our perception means that fear is simply a reaction we experience when we believe that events may not unfold as we wish. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Consider, for example, a situation where we have to give a presentation at a scientific conference. Thoughts that we might fail or be ridiculed can trigger anxiety. However, the conference, in this case, is not the deciding factor. Ancient historians believed it was important to study our fears, bring them to light, and judiciously assess how justified they are. The philosophy of Stoicism has always helped people cope with difficulties and improve their lives. Seneca also claimed that the main cause of fear is our inability to accept the present moment and the habit of making deals based on data that bring harm. Beasts run when they see danger, and after escaping, they stop feeling fear. In contrast, we are haunted by both the future and the past. Often, our ability to evaluate what we are experiencing is considered a characteristic that sets us apart from the animal kingdom. However, it is precisely this ability to reason that creates ambiguity. On the one hand, we can use it to solve complex problems, plan for the future, create stories, and connect seemingly impossible things. On the other hand, our judgments can be distorted, creating connections where there are none. Our reality becomes distorted by illusions, and most of these distortions can lead to fear taking control of us. The antidote to this is objective judgment and our ability to see the world as it is. By practicing an objective perspective, we remove the glasses that distort the true picture, thereby bringing the things around us back to their true form. One of our major problems is that we do not use facts to form opinions, but use opinions to shape facts. Imagine preparing to speak in front of an audience and feeling overtaken by fear. Fear may arise from thoughts like, "I will forget my words," or "people will judge me." But these are not facts. They are speculative judgments that increase the likelihood of harm and induce fear. Now, apply objective judgment. The fact is that you are simply talking to a group of people, nothing more. Have you ever thought negatively about speakers who presented before you? Have you ever thought about them at all? So why assume that they will think poorly of you? Perhaps you are overestimating yourself. All the additional intimidating details are products of your mind, not the situation. Epictetus said, "What frightens us is not death or suffering, but the fear of death or suffering. Perhaps you are facing a difficult conversation that you have postponed for several months, or you are about to start a new project that will seriously test your abilities. It could also be a job change, moving to a new city, the beginning of a relationship, and any of these events can trigger fears and anxieties that restrict you, making you suddenly feel trapped. Mark Twain said, "I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened." Seneca also wrote that it is likely that trouble will happen, but not at this very moment. How often does the expected not happen, even if suffering is imminent? What we run towards when it comes can lead to suffering. Meanwhile, it is better to hope for the best. Obviously, many of the things we fear will never happen. However, it is likely that not all of them won't. Usually, people try to reduce their anxiety by encouraging themselves that everything will be fine. But such an approach is a real source of fear. Why not just act? In doing so, we unconsciously reinforce our belief that facing the worst-case scenario will be a real catastrophe for us. Seneca has another intriguing quote about fear. "If you wish to be rid of all anxiety, imagine that the frightening event you fear will unquestionably happen, and however great or lasting the misfortune may be, find its measure. Weigh your fear, and you will realize that the calamity you fear is perhaps not so great or enduring." There are no contradictions here. Ben Elton expressed a similar idea, saying, "Hope for the best, prepare for the worst." For instance, if you happen to overhear that the director plans massive employee layoffs, instead of deluding yourself that it won't affect you, it is wiser to prepare for the worst. Develop an action plan. Consider what you will say to your boss and determine areas where you can cut expenses during the job search. This will help you realize that there won't be any catastrophe. Most of our fears often stem from concerns about what others think of us. This paralyzes us, distorts reality, and makes us act and think irrationally. Cyril Connolly, an English literary critic, humorously noted that many people are kept from suicide by the fear of what their neighbors will say about it. The paradox is that we often worry about what others think, even when we are far away and cannot hear them. It's crucial to recognize that many innovative ideas were met with strong objections in their time and were perceived as something new. Often, people fail to see opportunities or are unwilling to overcome objections due to a lack of ability or desire to see that the obstacle is merely a challenge to overcome. In 1970, when Frank Serpico exposed cases of corruption in the New York Police Department, an honest policeman congratulated him but questioned, "Why didn't you support me and speak up when help was needed?" Serpico responded, "What, to become an outcast like you?" Another policeman replied, "Well, what's the alternative? Allow our colleagues to extort money from those they are supposed to protect. Permit them to collaborate with criminals they should be shielding people from. People are more likely to become accomplices in crime than to speak out against it, and they are more likely to become victims of a pandemic than to agree to be the only one wearing a mask." Cicero said, "Let them think for themselves about what others say about you." People will always talk. You cannot allow fear to control you, because there has never been a person who accomplished something meaningful without irritating others. There were no changes that did not raise doubts, and there is never a time when the average opinion of strangers should be valued more than our own. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, I earnestly ask you to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. It greatly helps in promoting the channel and videos. Goodbye, and until the next meeting.